Okay, so this is a community call for PHP 7.2 support project on Magento 2. And let's go through the status. So let me share my screen and I'll start from what we have. Okay, I think now you should see my screen with the board. So some updates from my side. I was working with our functional testing team to get MFTF and MTF tests supporting PHP 7.2, and now it's ready. So we were able to run builds on with our functional tests and see some results. I think right now with some fixes that we've made, we have around 150 plus tests failing on PHP 7.2, and we are going to investigate what scenarios are failing and what kind of fixes can be done there. Then the other update is I just merged the pull request that we had before. It's replacing Zend feed from Zend Framework 1 to the Zend feed from Zend Framework 2. Basically not a big change here. So just some changes. So it's merged now, and we are kind of not using this component from Zend Framework 1. Then another pull request that I merged was from Ben also, and it's pretty significant change, I think. So we removed a bunch of Zend Framework 1 libraries from the Zend frameworks that we support, and it allows us to maintain it better. So now it's merged, and we will have this version of Zend Framework 1 with Magento 2.3 release. I don't think that right now we will be focusing significantly on any other work on Zend Framework 1. So backward, like incompatible changes with PHP 7.2 are fixed there, at least the ones that we found, and it's cleaned up as in this pull request. So if somebody wants to help, it's definitely, it will be definitely great, but we will be focusing more on other tasks internally to make PHP 7.2 support delivered as soon as possible. Okay, what else we have? So some plans on how we will move on. Right now, the plan is that we are almost done with updating to the newer versions of libraries that we depend on in Magento 2, and we are validating that all builds are green after that on PHP 7.1. So we are fixing anything that we find became broken, but looks like it's pretty good right now. There are still some issues with our infrastructure internally for some of the builds, but in general, everything looks pretty good. And our plan right now is to finalize this stage and like release this background work in Magento 2.3.0. So all the backwards incompatible changes will go there, and then Magento will be still stable on PHP 7.1. And then we will continue working on other PHP 7.2 issues and finalize the compatibility in one of the next patch releases of 2.3. So also I'm in progress of writing a blog post for that. So it's in review right now, and I think we'll publish it soon. So I'll send the link to the chat when it will be ready, so you can read in more details on the plans and what complications we may have around it. So that's my update. Then there are several updates from the team who are also working on this project. I don't know, Ben, would you like to mention what you were working on, or?
Sure. Yeah. We have updated multiple places where we were calling count on in Magento 2 that were not compatible with the new restrictions that PHP 7.2 puts on count. So in PHP 7.2, you can only call count on arrays or objects that implement countable. And so there were several places where we were sending possibly null values or strings or integers to count, and kind of taking advantage of the fact that that would return 1. So we've removed all of those instances from Magento 2 CE, and I'm currently in the process of doing the same thing for our enterprise projects as well.
Thank you, Ben. John, do you have something to add?
I think one thing I want to mention is there's some issue with the session calls in PHP 7.2. We fixed some warnings if you set session ID or set session names after the session start, those kind of issues. So I just want to mention it here. That's it.
Thank you. And yeah, so John basically is running all the builds, and I think she sees a lot of like the overall picture of what's failing. So yeah, she's working on fixing multiple tests right now. Okay, we also have Daniel. Daniel, do you have something to add?
Not much from me, mostly working on our internal infrastructure to make sure it's all working with PHP 7.1. In addition to that, I upgraded the composer dependencies for EE and P2P package. That all went pretty smooth. So.
Okay, thank you. We also have Ilya in our team. He's not on the call right now, as I can see, but he's working on mcrypt issue right now. And basically the plan will be to move on with mcrypt compat library. For now, it turns out it supports all the algorithms that we need. And I actually wanted to share with you what actually happens, what is happening here right now. So mcrypt supports multiple algorithms and modes, but mcrypt compat does not support all of that. So Ilya was investigating what exactly is really used in Magento, and he found out that everything that we need is still supported by mcrypt compat. So we will be moving on with this library for now, for 2.3.0. And to reflect that, we also had to change the unit test, which basically tests all the combinations. So Ilya removed all the combinations that we do not support and left only the ones that we really need and that mcrypt compat supports. So this is a change. I looked through the usages on marketplace extensions, and I think it should be also fine. But like we will also announce this in some kind of documentation that, okay, this is the change that we'll have in Magento 2.3. So this is the short-term plan for 2.3.0, and Ilya is also working on the plan on moving to libsodium library for PHP 7.2, and we'll see if we can make it happen in one of the patch releases. So I think Ilya will have a good plan on that, like the strategy, how we move on with the implementation. From what we see right now, it should not cause any backward incompatible changes, so it should be possible to implement in one of the patch releases. So we'll see if potentially we will need some help from community on implementing that. But this is the plan that we would like to have, is to move to libsodium eventually. So that's update from Ilya that I have. I don't know if we have Jacob in the room. I don't see him on the call. Okay, and yeah, we are sitting in different rooms because I'm just trying from another meeting. So Jacob basically helped us to test our current branch that we use on the cloud to ensure that, not current branch, but the pull request which updates Credis library. So everything looks okay. We still want to test setup application because there are Zend MVC and Zend View libraries which are updated and they are used in setup application. So it's still on the QA stage, but I think it should be done soon and we'll finally merge this pull request. I don't know what else who we have. Okay, we have Shri join us. I don't know, Shri, if you want to add anything from the documentation side.
Yeah, I'm just working on documenting, PHP support, including the upgrade path from 2.1 to 2.3. Someone else on the docs team, Dima, is working on upgrade path from 2.2 to 2.3. So I'm not sure if I'll sort of punt some of that work over to him or if we'll work together to complete that. But yeah, just working with Olga and their team to make sure the docs are updated.
Cool, thank you. And we also have Ryan on the team from the QA side. Also don't see him on the call, though I don't know, maybe he's in the room, but basically Ryan is...
I'm on the call.
You're here, cool. Do you want to give some update?
Sure. My two main focuses are creating a regression cycle for this upgrade work, which is mostly going to consist of some cloud install update manual tests and a suite of web setup wizard and other configuration type stuff. Yeah, so I'm hoping to put together that regression cycle and also testing stories as they come along.
Cool, thanks. What other updates we have? So basically, yeah, this is the plan. We are working on stabilizing Magento on 7.1, then we'll do some small kind of regression and we'll merge all of this. Composer JSON will have PHP 7.2 in the required list, so it will be possible to try to run Magento, but we'll continue also working on fixes that we find in functional tests, for example, or the issues that we may find during regression of Magento 2.3.0. So yeah, most likely that the final implementation of the PHP 7.2 support will be somewhere in patch releases of 2.3. Yeah, another update is that yeah, we still have some items in backlog. Some of them are pretty straightforward, I think. It's just upgrade of the libraries, for example. And most likely they even won't need some significant changes, like PHP unit may need a little bit, but not so much. What else we have? So some items like get class issues, I think we'll be fixing them if we'll get them from tests running. We don't have any specific list where it fails right now. You still need some investigation of problems with methods that return void and plugins for them, and also saving the product with opcache, and then everything else, it's mostly, I think, fixing tests. Yeah, so we still have some items to work on. So if somebody is interested, feel free to join. We We are reflecting all our status on this Zen Hub board. So if somebody from our team works on something, we reflect it here and assign to them. So everything which is in backlog and not assigned is open to everybody. We also have an icebox. I think I'll move it to the left for some time in the nearest days. And mostly this icebox bucket has Zen Framework 1 things that we want to remove. So it's libraries in Zen Framework 1 that we want to get rid of. So if somebody is interested, please feel free to take any of those tasks. It's still important, but it's not so critical right now. That's why Magento team will not be focusing on it. So if somebody really wants to help, it will be really great. And we'll have a contribution day. I don't know if you've heard about that. So I think it's 23rd, 24th. So it's Friday and Saturday. And it is a distributed contribution day, which will be in multiple cities. So if you're interested in that, I think probably you've heard about it, but yeah, you can ask in the chat if you need more details in the Slack chat. So I think that's all for today. Does anybody have any questions or anything to add, to suggest? Okay, I think if not, then we are done for today, and thank you for joining. See you next week.